Oh shoot! Hey, hang on.
Whoa, what time are you guys
A
I'm at
minute.
I'm at 1 minute.
at? Okay,
Wait.
let's start here.
I didn't know what district we were in to start with.
You should be able to get into it.
Yeah. So, what's going
Did you
on?
say European?
Yes, sir.
Seems that Hates has picked us a fantastic map. If nothing else, for the fact that it's completely different from what we've been.
Hell yeah, let's do this.
This is definitely what I don't like about the game right now. I mean, this is Frozen Isle. It's supposed to be the map that you can't spike on, and we're watching two teams just spike right at each other. You got the Ritualist Paragon, who uses Sundering Weapon and Chest Thumper to achieve the Deep Wound. And then you got the Assassin Paragon for Necromortar using Vicious Spear and go for the eyes to achieve their Deep Wound, along with a lot of midline damage out of Elementalists.
It's kind of actually interesting to see Mojo run the build they are, because the Glyph Sack type of spike I haven't actually seen in a while. It's been more of kind of the straight AP spike we see NH running. But NH has taken a couple of early deaths, so we'll see how
Low
this works
quality
out.
base res. That's gonna hurt them quite a bit in their spike abilities. What I don't like right now is, from what I saw at the flag stand, now we're coming back here, is Frozen Isle is a pretty open map, and both of these spikes rely upon one character achieving the Deep Wound. The Ritualist Paragon for Mojo and for NH, the Assassin Paragon. And the ability to simply dodge that spear is completely underrated. And on Frozen Isle, dodging around that cup that's by the flag stand is really important. Just try to stay on the other side of it from the Assassin Paragon. You won't ever die as long as he can't hit you. Here at the gate locks, there's that area with the torch in the middle as well.
It's really, I don't know what NH is doing. They're kind of trying to force the match over towards the gate locks, maybe away from their flagger, but it's really a weird play to see from like an AP spike team who usually doesn't try and move around the map that much unless they're forced to.
Well, what are they trying to do right now? Are they just trying to open up things for their flagger, who's now being run down by a gang of 8 people?
I don't know. It's weird because like neither team is really engaging at this, and in order for either team to get kills, they kind of need to be 8v8, so running around like this isn't really accomplishing much besides having nobody die.
You see the Assassin Paragon for Necromortar, he has fallback and incoming. What those allow him to do is put up a area run on his whole team so that they can get places very quickly. The Ritualist Paragon for We Found Your Mojo has fallback so they can achieve kind of the same thing. So neither team is really going to be able to gain a movement advantage. The reason both of them run it is so that if they're fighting a split build, they're able to move as a team and keep their spike together and catch splitters quite quickly and get the kills on them.
What is interesting is because instead of using it to kind of counter the split, right now they're using it to split offensively and kind of make Mojo move around. But that's also leaving this monk alone, and he's going to have to drop the flag to try and stay alive.
Cry frustration there on the pin down. Looks like they're going right in to try to kill a ward room NPC so that they don't have to use as much to get entourage, which is very, very well done.
How about Divine 9 out in the middle of nowhere? About to get pincered on at the gate locks.
He looks like he's in quite a bit of trouble. He needs to... Hopefully he'll get Brock over there to help him tremendously inept.
No, it looks like the whole team's coming.
Yeah.
It should be.
Might get a
We're gonna cross over this
fight
bridge.
here.
It was really a play
Shelter
just
is
to
on
kind
the
of.
flagger for Mojo. They saw this coming, so that was a good call by them to get Shelter on their flagger. Soul twisting Shelter and all that. That's gonna make them not really able to spike NH. That's probably why they're running around right now.
Well, it looks like we might have some gate lock footsies going on.
Even though Divine 9 was left alone there, they did get both Knight for it, so maybe NH is kind of setting up for a long game like we saw last time, where they're going to try and drag it out to 28 and use their advantage with the Knights down.
Kind of caught in a rough spot here. tremendously enough had to infuse while on the ice, so he's now being frozen by it and taking that map effect of if you stop on the ice you move really slowly for a little bit. And that's going to keep them pinned right there, so they're going to be able to get a couple spikes in here on Divine Nine and Tremendously Inept for NH, their monk. And if these guys get DP'd out, that's pretty much game over for NH.
And because Mojo boosted it, it's now going to be a lot easier for them to create those DP holes as opposed to NH trying to do the same because they had like a little bit of a head start. I'm interested to see how NH reacts in kind of the situation, as so far the reaction of running around is rather unorthodox.
Well, it does do... Remember, they're using Wearing Spear, these LE Paragons, and if they're running around, they're not going to be able to build it. Wow, that was a really close... They're not going to be able to build that, to build the Adrenaline to be able to use it. And that's going to be really, really...
Do you know if they have enough damage to kill someone without the Wearing Strike? Because I have a feeling they do. It'd be close.
I mean, against these squishy targets, what I mean by squishy targets are not very high armor targets, being Elementalists, Mesmers, and Assassins. I would say yes. Probably, especially like with Skittles, they're the Assassin taking a death. Like that's 15% less health he's gonna have, and it doesn't look like they're ever really gonna be able to get that back through a kill or a flag boost. So, I mean, it's just one of those eventualities.
The monk for NH is kind of caught out alone here while trying to get in the flag again. And he does drop it. He's kind of getting some help from Divine.
SOA. Not super helpful against this, unfortunately.
We do see another rush to the base from NH though, and they look to have quite a window opening of time where they're not going to really have any healing back for Mojo, and maybe able to get some more NPCs down.
I like the coordination they do every time they get through here. They get the archer, they either cry frustration the pin down or they blind him so their group stays together. They're really executing these moves quite well, but they gotta get something really big here though because they're gonna get collapsed on. This is basically a play to kill some NPCs and then maybe just die. Take a couple deaths while you run away.
What's interesting is they are, like, every time they do this, they are allowed to get out another flag because there's no pressure on their flag. So it does kind of serve that dual purpose. And it looks like they're gonna escape, at least mostly fine. Maybe take one death on the assassin or something.
This is a tough spot for Mojo, because technically, in terms of just team grouping, they're winning the match because they have more DP and the other team's having to run away from them. At the same time, it's so frustrating to have the other team be so slippery with those incomings and just run around like this and kill some of your NPCs. Personally, I would probably just try to leave back your Woe Monk almost and keep your Ritualist with Shelter there and kind of force them to be like, and kind of dare them and say, well, we don't have our Woe Monk, so if you want to spike us, go ahead and we'll be able to spike you right back, but you're not going to get anything else in our base.
See, I'd really like to see Mojo take kind of initiative and kind of just push over the locks and do what a similar thing to NH is doing, just push into the other team's base. That extra archer really isn't going to play too much of a factor, and it does allow you to kind of force it 8v8. And we might even see them do that right here, as they're kind of going to try and engage at lock. But unfortunately for them, NH already at this point has lock control, and just isn't going to let that happen.
I never like what Mojo's doing right now, which is just to run around, chase them, and hope their movement messes up, because I don't like that play. It just feels like, I mean, if NH properly executes the rest of this match, which, I mean, that's not to say that they will, and that Mojo's strategy won't work, it's just, I don't like hoping their team messes up. I'd prefer to be more proactive in my plays.
It does seem like kind of the way that Mojo's moving around, they're kind of trying to think like, at this point, what can we do? If we can't push across top, maybe we can just kind of engage them at locks, but at that point, they even give the opportunity to just push right back in their base again for NH, so they're really in a tough situation.
Looks like we got locks fighting again. Not what NH wants. They do not want to get in this. They've not shown the ability to stop. Oh, but they do get a kill on Cute Dome.
I mean, they did take a death right there, but I think this is like what they need to be doing, is kind of playing more aggressively and make NH react to them instead of trying to chase them around with less mobility.
We see Mojo obviously not very confident without their Ritualist with Shelter and such around to be able to spike NH. As soon as he capped, he ran right over to the locks. He did not run another flag. He went over to try to drop that Spirit.
So now look at how far around NH has to run to kind of do the similar things they're doing before, as opposed to Mojo who can just run back through the lock. And right now Mojo's kind of sitting in their knights and has an opportunity to get spike kills on players or NPCs, depending on what they choose.
Yeah, I like Mojo right now, just because now they kind of have more of a map control. They're able to respond quicker to NH's movements here with their Monk, while keeping their own team doing effective things. The problem was definitely that NH was able to just run through that gate lock area, and now that Mojo has kind of control over that area, they're going to be in a bit better shape.
The problem they're in now is that, like, they don't really have much healing on, so it's hard to kind of just completely tank everything. Though it looks like they did at least go in and get the 2 knight kills and try and even up the NPC count a little bit.
I don't like that both of these teams, though, have kind of left this outer archer along the Gatewalk's path alive. I mean, he's a pretty easy kill and would serve you well for splitting later. I know you can just blind him and dodge a pin down, but it's one of those things.
Yeah, as you
I
say
suppose
that,
when you finally break through to the enemy base, you really have a limited amount of time. You know, that archer's still an investment, even if it's small.
It's almost dead right now, but they're going in. Looks like they're going for bodyguard. Get it down.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's kind of which monks can hold up the longest, as both teams are having a lot of issues with.
Oh, looks like we have someone breaking.
And Mojo's kind of in a tough position because they're a monk down for another 45 seconds. Going to be 2 monks down. This Ritz probably going to die too, and their flag is still in their base, so it looks like NH is going to be boosted. They did
Not
get
just
the
winning
bodyguard.
the game right here. And he just pops, and they're right on the.
Wow,
guard.
was that game?
It looks like.
This is how powerful Mesmer
I
Spikers are.
don't think that they put Mind Rack on for the resilient weapon. That was probably not a good idea, but now that it's off. Well played by
And
NH.
obviously the mad scramble back to base and futile.